Good evening. Feels a bit weird doing this. One of the guys I was talking to a couple of days ago said to me, how do you make your own rigs? Can you do a little video of how you make them? So very simple. I've got a few of my components here. I'll talk you through some of the things. So what sort of things, such as what lines I use, why, braking strain, particular swivels, what weights I like to use, and hooks. So first and foremost, I normally start with a rig body which is slightly heavier than my shock leader. So the rig body which takes most of the impact and the damage and things like that. What's this one? This is Shakespeare saltwater line, £80 this is. So £80 braking strain. Sometimes I use £100 Sakuma. A lot more flexible, supple, with a quite low diameter. So very quickly, I'll show you how easy it is to make a pulley rig. There's no sort of, how can I put it, ways or means how to do this. I don't measure anything, I just guess. So that's probably about 1.5 foot of rig body. Personally, I like to use these style links for the weight. So that style link for the weight, which you'll see in a minute. And when I start tying up my rigs, before I tie the rig, I actually put the link on the weight, like so. Pop that through, do a blood knot or half blood knot, as some people say. Always wet it. Don't pull it tight until the last bit. When I mean don't pull it tight, so it's halfway there. Gently pull it down to avoid any friction on the line, so it's damaging it. So the wetness or spit or whatever you want to call it, to reduce the heat. And then if you pull it tight first of all, it damages the line. So if you do it gently to start with, and then at the end of it pull it tight, like so. Also, it's worth noting, a lot of people don't realise this, but if you've got a big bait and you've got a lot of elastic on, and you've still got the tag end, which even if you cut that down, that little tag end, it sometimes catches the elastic. So what I normally do is, with the hook which is on the weight, I put it the other side of the link so it doesn't catch. So now, if you see that there, so that's the tag end that side, and that's the hook the other side. So the tag end won't catch the elastic on your bait. So as you can see, I never cut it really tight to the knot, because if you do have a situation where you have to try and pull for a break, or you cast, that knot may tighten up a bit slightly more. So I always leave 2 or 3 mil, but I'm happy with it. Like I say, there's no set way to do this. A couple of beads, certain swivels that I use. I always use these sort of swivels for the pulley rig. So this sort of swivel, the reason being is it's a round eye, and if you use one which is a diamond, then the bend in the line becomes more damaged, whereas the round eye, the line goes through a lot easier. So quite simple, one bead, one swivel, another bead, and another swivel. So this is the main body of the rig. Again, wet the line. And this time when I tighten the swivel end up, because I've put my weight on earlier, I actually pop that swivel on there on the hook of the lead. So then I've got something to pull it tight against. Like so. So there we have it. So it's about 1.5 foot, kind of about 1 foot, maybe just a bit more. This is the basis of my pulley rig. So again, snip the end off. Don't go all the way down to the bottom of the knot. So it's still got a bit of line left. And so that's £80 rig body. Depending what you're fishing for, the lowest I normally go on a pulley rig, the lowest weight I go to, or the breaking strain on the hook length, is £40 amnesia. If I'm fishing for cod, let's say, I think £40 should be enough. Some people will probably say it's too light. If I'm thinking I'm going for rays or maybe conger or something like that, personally, so I've got £100 rig body and a £70 hook length. So on this occasion, because my intention is to be fishing for cod, it's going to be 40. Now, because I make these up pretty quick, I don't reuse them. So I'll make new rigs every time. The reason being is you spend hundreds of pounds on a fishing rod, you spend hundreds of pounds on your bait, and why not do it on your rigs? You know, after all, that is the business end, isn't it? So again, for the hook length, I always leave the tag end, like I said, just hanging out there. This one here, pulley rig, as you can see, the line, so now I've got the swivel, which is going to attach to my main line, the top swivel, and the basis of the pulley rig is there. Okay, so that's the bit which attaches to the main line, and then this is going to be on the seabed, like so, depending on how much tide there is. So, don't know if you can see that there. The lead weight, swivel, bead, that bit's attached to your main line, and that bit, depending on which way the tide's going, will be sat with your bait on the bottom. So now I've just got to tidy a few things up. Because I've cut that a little bit too long, I'm just going to trim it down a little bit. So my hook choices are this is going to be a pennel rig, Sakuma Top Guns, ultra strong, ultra sharp hooks, a little bit shorter on the shank, whereas the bottom hook is going to be Sakuma Mantas. Bigger hook, wider gape. The only thing is, the reason why I do this is the bottom hook, so you can just see that there. That hook, there's no bet, if that gets snagged in, you're not getting it out. Whereas this one, which is the bottom hook, if that gets snagged in, I don't know if you can just see, it's got a bit of bend. And if the hook's stuck in the rocks, I'm hoping that if you were to give it enough pull, you might be able to bend that out. Might be able to. But it will handle any fish in the UK, so it's not a problem. So, top hook just goes on, slide it on, like so. Bottom hook. The reason why I have a longer shank on the bottom hook as well is if I'm using worm baits, which you would be if you're fishing for cod, they tend to sort of go up the hook a lot better, and presentation is a lot better. So, finally, this is the business end. Again, wet the knot, pull it tight. Now, sometimes on the hook length, sometimes I leave this tag end. The reason being is, if I've got a worm bait and I slide it up over the hook, it acts as a bait stop. because that may just pierce through the worm and then hold it in place. Also, if you're doing this same sort of style rig with, I don't know, if you've got a bit of mackerel or something like that, when you put it out through the hook 2 or 3 times, that again adds as a bait stop. A little bit untidy, but I don't care. That's the way I do it. And ultimately, if you decide this is something that you want to follow or see, you'll learn ways and do it yourself that you're comfortable with. The top one then, just trim that up. As I say, personally, every time I go out, I have a new rig freshly made every time. So I'll make 3 or 4 of these up in probably half an hour. Let's just check that the components all work together. So the basis of the pulley panel, top hook, as we know, you've got a bit of bait on there, you slide it up, put it in place, like so. Bottom hook is all there. Again, let's just make sure the whole basis of the idea works. Everything's in place and we're happy. That clicks onto there. So you've got your rig there. Remember, that's the tag end. Remember what I said about the lead weight? That tag end on the rig body is the other side of the clip. And coming down through, when you cast out with one of these impact leads, what happens is that hits the water, pops off, like so, hits the bottom of the seabed, and then with a bit of tidal flow, your line will gently tighten up, and then the business end will be away from the weight. There we go. That's my take on the pulley panel.